Circuitry, Arcanine, Drifblim, and Smeargle. So yeah, there's some Pokemon you don't normally see a whole lot on Jake's side.
Yeah, that Serena's really interesting. It has the ability to use a move called Drop Kick, and that's always nice, dropping your opponent's physical attack. And wow, he already locks in, and we see the Crocodile also, which is a nice Intimidate mon, and always being a Dark type is nice.
Yeah, and probably the most important part about Serena is its ability, Queenly Majesty, stopping any priority. But with Tapu Lele on Kevin's side, there probably isn't much priority to stop, right?
Yeah.
Maybe Arcanine's Extreme Speed if it's carrying that.
Fake out from Smeargle.
Fake out from Smeargle, which we saw earlier. And yeah, Serena is also kind of like a rogue pick, since it was on the winning team for Japan Nats. I can't remember who used it.
Yeah, I can't.
I don't remember his tag as
yeah,
Baradoru, but I don't remember it as Ryota. Ryota, that's the one.
Yeah.
Okay, that's embarrassing. Anyway, we're gonna get right into this game. We'll see how Kevin deals with the rain and the other two Pokemon too, while Jake will have to deal with Tapu Lele and Drifblim. Well, as I said, Tapu Lele and Drifblim for Kevin.
And we see the Golduck and Tapu Koko from Jake.
Alright, both our players have opted to nickname their Pokemon, so that gives you style points from me.
Yeah, if nothing else, we'll give you props for nicknaming your Pokemon.
Alright, and it looks like, as we saw before, the Electric Train is going to come up after the Lele goes and throws out its Psychic Surge.
Alright, so right now I really think that Golduck is not in too great of a position. It's not going to be able to do too much damage to that to the Drifblim, and we do know that Tapu Lele, or we suspect that it is Scarfed.
Yeah, we do know it is Scarfed from an earlier set, but Jake won't know that unless he does, because Tapu Koko is a very fast Pokemon, and unless Jake is running a very slow set, which definitely doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
That's going to be some Scarf Tapu Lele. It is in danger of getting doubled up on by the Drifblim and the Tapu Lele, so that's possibly what Kevin's doing right here.
Alright, so we just see the Drifblim go for that Shadow Ball right into that Tapu Koko.
And Moonblast as well, doubling up. Gonna take out the Tapu Koko really quickly here. No Volt Switch, no Thunderbolt, no nothing.
Alright, as we do see that Golduck go for the Waltarian Z.
I would say it's probably into Tapu Lele.
Yeah.
But without the rain, I don't know.
I really think that is probably gonna at least. I feel like it's probably gonna pick up the knockout, considering it's not very bulky.
We'll see.
Yeah. Ooh, almost.
Just barely. So not a very good turn for Jake here on turn 1. Tapu Lele surviving that attack is definitely not something you like to see. But Jake can just throw in Pelipper and get the rain up and outspeed the next turn.
Yeah. Oh, it actually goes out to his Alolan Muk.
Do you mean Alolan Duck?
Heyo.
Anyway, that's a pretty interesting pick. It does do very well against the Drifblim, but Tapu Lele locked itself into Moonblast, so it's not safe from the Tapu Lele.
One thing that he might have considered is that I'm not going to be... So if the Drifblim gets off the Tailwind, it'll be right back to outspeeding me. So maybe he's thought, I better just go for the damage and be able to knock out the Pokemon that he's currently facing before he bothers going into his own weather.
Right. And that kind of seems like what Jake's gonna do. He's gonna save his weather to maximize those turns, especially when he's not when the opponent's not entailing. But hey, there's the Shadow Sneak. Going to take out Tapu Lele right quick here.
And he is able to pick up that knockout. So let's see what Drifblim actually goes for here.
Gonna go for that Will-O-Wisp. That's a pretty crucial burn too, since it means Muk is gonna have some very limited damage output.
Yeah, that's gonna be a rough one for that Muk to play through, as we see the Golduck go for the Ice Beam, doing a pretty respectable amount of damage.
Yeah, another Shadow Sneak and an Ice Beam should end that Drifblim. But Drifblim is doing a lot of work here, spreading some burn, getting some KOs, or at least helping with some KOs, I guess.
So right now, I think that if that Drifblim goes down and that Golduck is still on Jake's side of the field, he's not in a terrible position if he's able to manage to get his rain up without the Tailwind going up for Kevin.
Kevin picking something to put in the slot of Tapu Lele. It's gonna be that Circuitry. Really good switch in here. Golduck doesn't have the Z move anymore, so Circuitry is very safe. To set up tail glows or just go for damage right now. Use that electric terrain to his advantage.
Depending on how these trainers have their Pokemon trained, I also believe that that Circuitry might be able to outspeed that Golduck, but it's not likely.
Yeah, I think most Golducks still do build to outspeed a general number of things, and Circuitry usually, especially with its pretty mediocre speed stat, doesn't usually build to outspeed those things.
Yeah, so let's see here. I think we might see a Protect come out.
Actually, we see a switch from a Golduck into Pelipper.
Throwback to the Gen 3 Sailor, whose Wingull was named Pico.
And there's the Tailwind from Kevin's side, so we're going to make sure that Circuitry can go fast and strong.
Yeah, Circuitry just gets up that tail glow, ensuring that it's going to be doing a nice amount of damage.
Here's Knockoff into Circuitry. Despite being burned, still does quite a bit.
Making sure that it can't eat that berry either.
Right. That could be very important down the road when Golduck comes back in. But with Drifloom still around, and the potential for something like Sunny Day to appear, it's not looking quite over yet for Jake. If Kevin's Drifloom does carry Sunny Day, then this is definitely a tricky situation.
Yeah, because then he has to be able to figure out, alright, how can I maneuver my Pelipper to get back in so I can get rid of that again?
Here's the Shadow Ball, but it looks like Kevin just decided to double up with Thunderbolt and Shadow Ball. Another knockoff, gonna take some more damage off this Drifloom. Put it in Shadow Sneak range even.
Yeah, so that was a very risky play from Kevin. I feel like that was readable, honestly, from Kevin's perspective. I feel like, oh man, yeah, I gotta really protect my Pelipper. My Pelipper's my way to make sure I get my rain and make sure my duck's fast. So I think that was a slight misplay from Kevin's end.
Yeah, now that Drifloom is definitely just gone, I think Jake is definitely just going to take this opportunity to get the Drifloom out of the way. Pelipper will keep its Sash intact, get off a very fat Scald, Hurricane, or Brine, or something, onto the Circuitry, and with no berry, it definitely just puts it in range of getting knocked out.
Yeah, he might actually go for his own Tailwind too, maybe thinking there could be something a little bit too speedy in the back.
Right. And there's that Shadow Sneak, like I was saying. This should be enough to knock out, even with the burn. Muck is pretty strong, and Drifloom, despite having a very nice HP, it does not have the defense to back it up sometimes.
Yeah, despite it having absolutely massive HP stat, its defenses aren't too great, especially if you're trying to get some damage with it. So
there's that Tailwind. And this Muck, despite being burned, is still putting in a lot of work. I think it's done the most work out of Jake's whole team, really.
Yeah. I don't believe it's even procced its berry yet, so it's still got turns.
Still kicking, yeah. And there's Kartana coming in for Drifloom. And there's one more turn of Tailwind for Kevin, but Jake can easily protect it off right here, and then be able to outspeed it the following turn. And Muck is actually kind of sitting pretty. I don't think Jake minds if it goes down, but if it doesn't, it can just throw out another knockoff or another Poison Jab, anything really.
Yeah, so right now I really think that Muck is kind of just going to be able to pull this game out as long as that Circuitry is able to be dealt with.
Here's the Leaf Blade into Pelipper. No Protect, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that was a misplay on Jake's end.
Maybe thinking, oh, he played into my Protect earlier, so maybe he'll play into it again.
Thunderbolt coming out for Circuitry. +3 is enough to knock it out. And Kevin's going to take another boost for the road. Now, it looks like Jake forfeit that opportunity to come back, since the only Pokemon left is Golduck.
Yeah, I really think that was not the correct play from Jake. I really think if he just protected there with his Pelipper, I don't think there was a way for him to really lose that one at that point.
Yeah, with Golduck in, as long as it hits Hydro Pump, or maybe Scald is still enough, because Kartana can't KO both Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
But Circuitry is a threat since it has the spread Dazzling Gleam, so taking that out first and then focusing on the Kartana later might have been a play if Pelipper was still around. But here's the Scald.
Alright, maybe just getting some in this game to find out some damage calcs.
Leaf Blade at burn isn't going to pick up the KO. Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Still going to pick up that knockout, so that is important to note, I guess.
Yeah, it's never smart to underestimate how much damage Cortana can do. Alright, so we see Kevin actually taking that first round.
Despite having a couple of iffy plays there, that first turn pickup on the Coco was like probably the best, gave him the best foot forward and put Jake on the back burner immediately. And then Jake did come back, but in the end couldn't pull it back.
Yeah, so there was some questionable plays from Jake there at the end, but up until that point I think it was a pretty well managed game. Up until that point at least, because he really had a chance if he just protected that Pelipper.
Right. So Drift Blim, we still don't know if it has Slinny Day or not, which maybe Kevin was actually just saving it and made that play knowing that he could still win. But he put himself, I think, unnecessarily at risk there. If Jake had played all the way to his outs, I think he probably could have taken that game.
Yeah, so maybe Kevin thinking, I've got it. Maybe he's just thinking, well, if it comes down to the game 2, I've got the secret in the back still.
All right, so hop into game 2 here. We'll see if Jake adjusted. He knows a bit more about Kevin's team now.
All right, so I think a good adjustment we might be able to see here is I think that burn was a very nice thing. So let's see if they're able to pull it off again.
So here is the Alolan Muck plus the Tapu Koko from Jake.
And then Kevin Swastek leads off with the Drift Blim and Tapu Lele.
Alright, so it's looking pretty similar to the last game, except this time there's a Muck already on the field, which is great for Jake, not so fancy for Kevin.
Yeah, so that Muck's going to be chilling there, threatening the Poison move onto the Tapu Lele, threatening the knockoff into the Drift Blim.
And unlike in game 1, Kevin can double up, but then Muck gets to do something for free, and that's never a good thing when it's got super effective coverage on both of your Pokemon.
Yeah, so I really think Jake led quite well into this lead, but it's never a good idea to underestimate a Scarfed Pokemon and then also a Pokemon with ridiculous speed right now. So
it'll be interesting to see what Jake does. He might want to protect one of his Pokemon and make a call, but at the same time, just attacking with both Pokemon seems like a pretty plausible play as well.
Yeah, so right now, if you tackle both of them, you're guaranteed to probably get some kind of damage, but it would also put you in a pretty bad position if your opponent is able to call that.
Kevin will have to decide whether he thinks setting up Tailwind is better or going for a Shadow Ball is better. Or Burning Muck even.
Yeah, but we did see how much work that Muck was able to do, even if it was burned that whole last game.
We actually going to see the Tapu Koko switch out into Pelipper right away. Perhaps trying to avoid a double up or trying to just avoid damage in general. Setting up the rain for Jake, as Will-O-Wisp does come out onto Muck. And that's going to hurt its offensive output. That Tapu Lele is probably going to stick around for another few turns or so.
As we see the Moonblast come up from the Tapu Lele into that Pelipper slot.
Gonna do a lot of damage there.
Leaving it just outside of the range of its potential sash.
Poison Jab comes out. No poison, unfortunately. So that Tapu Lele is still here for another turn.
But that Poison Jab still did so much damage, even if it was burned.
Yeah, Kevin looking pretty good. Benefited pretty well off that turn. If Jake had kept his Tapu Koko in, maybe a little more damage could have been had, or maybe even a knocked out Tapu Lele. But switching in Pelipper here, getting up Rain, I'm not sure about that call.
Yeah, because right now, if that Pelipper is one of the slowest things on the field, and the slower Mon being his Muck, so I really think Jake is in a rough position right now.
Kevin going to withdraw his Tapu Lele for Xurkitree. Doesn't want to lose Lele just yet. And Pelipper also going to go right back out into Tapu Koko. So, a bit of some fences around here. They're trying to not lose their Pokemon. Shadow Ball gonna go into that Tapu Koko, trying to get the knockout onto Pelipper, but not gonna happen as knockoff goes out into the Drift Blim.
So that Xurkitree basically got in for free, so we can see the return of that Psychic Terrain later in the game if Kevin does find it necessary.
Yeah, and Xurkitree currently unboosted, though even at 0 boost, I think it can still take out Tapu Koko with a Thunderbolt into rain. As Driftwood goes ahead and sets up that Tailwind.
As that Tapu Koko goes for the Dazzling Gleam, doing a nice amount of damage to both Pokemon.
Xurkitree gonna set up again for that Tail Glow. Making sure that it does damage even outside of terrain. Knockoff coming in, gonna take that berry away.
All right. So that was a very good play, making sure that really limiting that Xurkitree's survivability was nice. But with staring down a +3 Xurkitree.
With the +3 Xurkitree in terrain, there is no way Muck is going to be able to handle this attack.
Yeah.
And Tapu Koko also being within range of Shadow Ball is really hurting Jake's position right now. With 3 more turns of Tailwind left, Jake's going to need a bit of a miracle pull to get out of this one.
As we see that Tapu Koko just go for the Protect.
No Protect from Muck. Shadow Ball into Tapu Koko's Protect, but Thunderbolt definitely going to cleanly KO this Muck.
Yeah, that Muck was not going to be able to handle that, so that that Xurkitree is going to be getting another Beast Boost.
And this is dangerous since there are still 2 turns of Tailwind left. If Jake has Golduck, he should bring it out here so he can attempt to outspeed the Xurkitree, which is what he does, of course. And so now Xurkitree is in range of getting KO'd.
It might be even in range if it protects here, if it goes for the Waterium Z.
Waterium Z is definitely going to take out what's in that slot. And Tapu Koko, Jake might just have to give it up here, as he definitely doesn't really want to switch it in Pelipper. Although maybe he does, seeing as it wasn't too useful.
Yeah, now that your Golduck is in, maybe it might be time to let that Pelipper go down.
Shadow Ball into Golduck, actually, as the Xurkitree outspeeds and throws out a Dazzling Gleam. And that is crucial.
That's game.
Yeah. So that Xurkitree has a bit of speed in there, outspeeding Golduck in the rain under Tailwind.
And getting 2 Beast Boosts from that, that's going to be... I believe that is a game for Kevin.
Yeah, this Xurkitree is at +6, so it's not looking good.
Yeah,
with 10 HP Pelipper out here.
Yeah, I mean, I love Pelipper, but I believe in it, but I really don't think it's actually going to happen.
Yep, and we do see that forfeit coming out from Jake. Going to concede to Kevin, give him the effectively 4-0.
Yeah.
And Kevin will be ending Swiss with a record of 4-1, while Jake will end with a 3-2.
But that was a very excellently handled game by Kevin. He knew exactly what his win con was, and he played to it till the very end.
And I think that Jake still did not have enough information there because he didn't know if Golduck outsped Xurkitree in Tailwind. And it just turned out in Game 2 that's not going to happen.
Yeah, so I think for the future, I think a thing that Jake could do to improve is